CenterPoint integrates with Plaid to create a streamlined financial institution import that allows you to seamlessly import transactions from most financial institutions into CenterPoint. This process is used to either create transactions that are not in CenterPoint yet, or to match transactions that have already been entered in so that they're not duplicated and so that you can check them for accuracy. If your financial institution is not available using this process, then you can still do a manual bank import by going to Processes, Periodic, and Import Financial Institution Transactions. Otherwise, the bank import that uses Plaid can be found by going to Processes, Banking, and Bank Transaction Import. To link to Plaid and add a financial institution, you can click the Add button. That'll take you into the Plaid integration. To create an account with Plaid, you'll enter in a phone number that can receive a text, and once the text is sent to the phone number, you'll be prompted to enter in an access code that you received. I'm going to continue as a guest instead. You'll then select the financial institution that you want to link to. If it's not on the list there, you can go to the search box and type in a few characters of the financial institution that you're looking for. When you see it on the list, you can select it, and then you'll be prompted for login credentials. The login credentials that you're asked for may vary depending on the financial institution selected. Once you've entered those credentials, you'll click Submit. You'll then be presented with a list of accounts that you have at that financial institution. You can click Continue on that message. If you want to save that bank with your account with Plaid, you'll just enter in your telephone number at the bottom and click Save. I'm going to finish without saving. Once the link is complete, you'll receive a linking complete message. You can close the browser at that point, and you'll also receive a link is complete message within CenterPoint. You can click OK. You'll see your new financial institution on the screen, and you can now map the accounts for that financial institution to the companies and accounts within CenterPoint that you want to import the transactions for. You'll see here that I've selected to import transactions for my checking account and for my Visa, but I am not importing transactions yet for any of the other accounts. When you're done selecting accounts that you want to map to, you can click the Save button, and that financial institution will be listed. If you need to return to that financial institution to map more accounts, you can highlight it and click the Edit button. You can also delete a financial institution that you no longer need by highlighting it and clicking the Delete button. To bring in transactions for a financial institution, you could click the Review button, and on that screen you can select the financial institution you want to bring in transactions for, and then which account you want to view the transactions for. You can then select the period of time of those transactions you want to review. So you can either choose from 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. When you're done, you can click Import, and those transactions will then be displayed for that time period. For those transactions that say that user action is required, we will either need to click Add, select the vendor or customer from a list of vendors or customers. So I'm going to put in Starbucks if they don't exist. I have the opportunity to add them, so I'm going to retype that name. And then click Save to add them. And then select that vendor or customer. And then select the account that I want to apply that to. So I want that to go to my meetings, travel and meetings account. If you do need to apply an amount to more than one account, you can click on the button to the right of the account, and you can select each account and what percentage of the total amount you want to apply to that account. When you're done, you can click Add, and it will add that account to, or that transaction to CenterPoint. It moves it from the pending tab to the processed tab. Transactions that are on the processed tab have been added to CenterPoint. If you want to undo those transactions at any point, you can click the undo and it will remove it from CenterPoint and move this transaction back to the pending tab. Some vendors or customers may have open invoices. For those, when I click the Add button, I'll still select which vendor or customer I want to apply that transaction to. But instead of selecting an account in the account box, I'm going to click on the Apply to Open Invoices, and I'm going to select those invoices that I want to apply this amount to and click OK. And then I will add that transaction. You'll notice that this transaction here does not have a message saying that a user action is required. And as a matter of fact, if I click the Add button, you'll see that it already has a vendor name there and an account. I'm going to click Cancel on that. The reason why it's able to have that information in there automatically was because there was a rule set up for that particular transaction. So you can click on Rules. Under Rules, you could either have rules that you create, or we'll have system auto-generated rules, which we'll talk about shortly. Okay, if it is a rule that you've created, you could either click New to add a new one, or you could edit a rule that's out there. For each rule, you'll give it a name. You'll say whether it applies to all bank accounts or just to a particular financial account. You're going to say if they're for outgoing transactions or incoming transactions. You'll identify what the rule is, so you'll put in a description. Here we've said that if the description field contains the word Spark Fun, we're going to post that against the vendor, Spark Fun, into the account memberships. And then I can click OK, and that's created the rule. So now, since that one has a rule on it, in order to add it to CenterPoint, all I have to do is check it and click Apply, and that adds it to CenterPoint. If a transaction finds a match already in the system that says that that transaction has a match, I can click the Match button, and I can see the transaction. So if it is a transaction that I want to actually match, I can select it and click the Match button. And then that transaction won't get added a second time. I've just matched it to a transaction already in CenterPoint. If there are transactions that you want to exclude for whatever reason, you can select that transaction and click the Exclude. That'll move it to the tab called Excluded. Those are transactions that are not going to get added to CenterPoint. They've been excluded. I'm going to continue to add all of these transactions. If I don't add them, they will remain on the pending tab until I do. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to select the account that goes to and click Add. Now, as I'm adding those transactions, one thing that the system is doing is it is auto-generating some rules so that the next time a transaction comes up that is similar, it might be able to add it automatically or by me just selecting it and clicking Apply. I'm going to go back to rules, and here are rules that I manually created, but if I check this box here, it'll also show me rules that were auto-generated. Okay, so any of those rules I can highlight and I can edit and make changes to, or if I don't want that rule to be out there, I can highlight it and click Delete. And we'll close out of there. We'll click OK to close out of that financial institution. I'm actually going to go back to review transactions again for that financial institution, but instead of choosing my bank account, this time I'm going to choose my Visa account. Now, adding transactions for a credit card that's set up as a credit card liability is pretty similar to adding a transaction that came in as a payment to a bank account. But instead of adding it as a payment, what'll happen is it'll add it as an invoice. So as an example, if I click on Add next to KFC, I can add KFC as a vendor if they're not on my list of vendors already. So I'll click New, and I'm going to save them as a new vendor. And then I'm going to choose what account I want to post that to. So I'm going to say that goes to travel and meetings, and then click Add. Well, what happens is if I go to Transaction Search, I'm going to go back 1 month, you'll see that that transaction to KFC, rather than getting added as a payment, got added as a vendor invoice. And then later, when the payment to the credit card comes through on my bank account, I will apply it to these invoices that got created for the credit card. I'm going to close out a search, and you'll continue adding these transactions. So these transactions will stay here until I add them or exclude them. So if I close out of here and come back, they will still be here. When you're done, you can click OK. And if you want to leave the financial institution import, you can click Close.